I'm about to answer a question I never thought I would ask. Does my dog poop in line with the magnetic field? Do you, Pluto? Pluto is a 3-year-old 40-kilogram hunk of love, and he is perfect for this experiment because he does 3 poos a day. Yes, you do. Pluto and I will be mapping his poo behaviours for the next week, trying to answer this ultimate question: does he know where the Earth's magnetic field is, and does he poo in line with it? You were probably asking, why are you even doing this experiment? Well, that is a very good question. A few years ago, I stumbled across this paper from 2013, where the authors studied over 70 different dogs from 37 different breeds to try and figure out, do they defecate and urinate in line with the Earth's magnetic field? They recorded a total of 1,863 defecation events and over 5,000 urinations, and what they found was really, really cool. When dogs pooped, they tended to poop in line with the Earth's magnetic field. That's right. This was a world first. Until then, they had never proven that dogs in particular could sense where the Earth's magnetic field is. We know other animals can, but this is a really surprising one, hey? He agrees. I want to zoom in here for a moment, not there, here, and talk about the Earth's magnetic field for a second. Deep under our feet, about 3,000 kilometers beneath us, there's a swirling sea of molten iron and nickel in the Earth's outer core. As this hot liquid metal moves and rotates, it generates an electric current, and in turn, those electric currents lead to the rise of magnetic fields perpendicular to the flow of electric charge. This process is described by the dynamo theory, and it happens on a range of other celestial objects, including our own sun, just far be it more complex. Essentially, you can think of the Earth as a massive bar magnet with a magnetic north and a magnetic south, except the Earth is tilted slightly off-center. The magnetic poles are spots on the Earth where the surface of the magnetic field lines are vertical. The magnetic North Pole is where your compass needle points, but it's not the same as the true geographic North Pole. In fact, the magnetic poles are constantly drifting due to changes in the flow of the molten metal inside the core. For example, right now, the magnetic North Pole is moving from Canada towards Siberia at a rate of about 50 kilometers per year. Eventually, our magnetic poles will flip, where magnetic north will become south and south become north. And this has happened several times in Earth's history, with the last event expected to have happened around 780,000 years ago. Our magnetic field deflects charged particles, and it's responsible for the beautiful aurora you can see from time to time. Without our magnetic field, life literally would not exist here on planet Earth. And we know that some animals like birds and sea turtles, and maybe now even dogs, can sense it. This is a sense called magnetoception, and it is as epic as it sounds. Some animals are able to use the Earth's magnetic fields quite extensively, and we still don't know why. Us humans, as far as we can tell, don't have this sense. So what is happening in other animals, and potentially my furry friend here? There are 2 main hypotheses. One is called a quantum compass, and the other involves iron particles inside the bodies acting as a magnet. Let's start with the quantum compass. This is based on the radical pair mechanism, and here is the simplified version. Inside some animals' eyes, there are special molecules like cryptochrome that can absorb blue light. When the light hits these molecules, it can bump up an electron into a special state, which can create 2 tiny particles with unpaired spins, kind of like little magnets. These pairs of particles can flip between different spin states. And even though the Earth's magnetic field is very weak, it can slightly affect how fast or how often these flips will happen. Because of this, it's theorized that an animal's brain might be able to detect tiny changes in the chemical reactions happening in their eyes and use that information to sense direction. This is one of the best theories with over 20 years of research, and is one of the leading theories as to how birds are able to use the magnetic poles to navigate so brilliantly. The second idea, though, is far simpler, and it goes like this. Tiny clusters of iron within a body can act as a compass, like little needles. Some animals, like homing pigeons, are known to have little bits of magnetic iron in their upper beak, and it's theorized that iron particles can physically align with the Earth's magnetic field just like a real compass would. Nerves could send this information to the brain, helping the animal figure out which way they are facing. Now back to Pluto and the other dogs of the world. The authors of the original paper theorised that potentially it's the eye-based quantum compass mechanism that allows them to sense where the magnetic pole is. And that is really cool. So 3 years ago, I actually started this experiment with our previous greyhound, Lucy. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away before I could complete the experiment, but Pluto here is going to take the reins and complete the experiment in Lucy's honour. Are you ready for the challenge? I'm not even sure he knows. Let's start with our hypothesis, and that is based on the original paper. So I theorise that Pluto will in fact poo in line most of the time with the Earth's magnetic field lines. What that means is that he will orientate his body most of the time from north to south. To try and limit the variables in this experiment, we will walk in the exact same directions every single day, meaning that Pluto will have a chance to walk north, south, east, and west at least 3 times. We will measure with a compass on the phone exactly his bodily alignment as he does his business, and we will record that so we can get an overall estimation of which direction does he prefer. Now, it's important to note here, even though we're walking north, south, east, and west, the streets that we walk on are really big and wide, meaning that he can turn around his body and orientate himself any which way he pleases, and he often does. So for 7 days and with 3 data points a day, we should be able to determine if Pluto is like the dogs in the original study and also prefers to do his business in line with the Earth.
1 week later.
Are you ready to hear your results? Okay, we are back. It has been 7 days. We have 29 individual data points, which means somebody here has been busy helping us with the experiment. And I can tell you that the data and the results are truly not what I expected. Now, Pluto's data, when we actually put it on a plot and break it down, we see that the majority of the time he likes to go southerly, mainly south or southwest. And what's really interesting is if we do the average of all of his different data points and get an average heading for him, it is perfectly south to north, almost on the dot. Meaning that statistically, if we look at the average data over this week, he really does prefer to go and point in the direction of the Earth's magnetic field. Now, I don't know why I'm so surprised by this. The scientific data was very clear. That paper had an exceptional amount of data points and dogs that they were working with, but for some reason, I just had never noticed. And yet the data speaks for itself. To even make it more robust, it wasn't just our neighborhood that we walked around, and we even traveled 200 kilometers north to a different city in the state that I live in. And even then, he preferred to go south. So what does this all mean? Well, my data certainly isn't as much as the original paper, but it's amazing that I'm able to see these effects in just 1 week on an exceptionally small data size. And what is really interesting is that it means that Pluto most likely has some form of magnoreception, which is just incredible. This is probably the weirdest experiment I've ever done. I'm a physicist in my day job, astrophysics to be precise, so I'm used to working with enormous data sets focused on the cosmos. I never thought I'd be working with poo directions, but it has been one of my favorite things I've ever done. If you have heard of any weird, wacky, or wonderful myths that you would like me to experiment with next, pop them in the comments below, and we will see you next time.